It's a long story. How many hours do you have? No. Actually, I'm the most unfocused person on wellness for most of my life. Because, businessman, you drink, you smoke, you don't sleep, you travel, you're burning the candles in both ends, but, you have youth.
Right.
But that's not the point. My journey begins accidentally coming across with Qigong, which I don't know what it is, which brought me into a meditative state and I start meditating. It just changes my consciousness, right? Then I always have this fear because I'm the fourth generation. Now I'm going to be the one who lose it all. So I have to solve the problem being an engineer. I need a solution to sustainability. I'm not going to be the generation who's going to lose it all. So and every good engineer does, they do research. I studied all the things. Then I founded in 1995 a nonprofit called East-West Center for Cultural Development, focused on sustainability. And I found out sustainability is a whole life system. You cannot sustain, your family's not sustained. Family cannot sustain, your business can't sustain. Your business can't sustain if the market cannot sustain. And none can sustain if the earth cannot sustain. So you found out that, wow, the whole universe is life. How do I find that? I start studying Chinese culture and see their worldview. Because one thing I found out from 93 to 95 when I'm doing meditation and all these ideas coming, is that how we see changes how we think, changes how we feel, changes how we choose and co-create. You can choose a competitive strategy, or you can choose a collaborative strategy. So being a family business for generations, we know. So even you can see the name of the company is called IMCPAA, Pan-Asia Alliance. I added the PAA to the name because I want to remind myself about everything, what our aspiration. Of course, we operate globally, but we aspire to be an Asian company, Pan-Asian company. It's big enough, don't be too greedy, right? Through alliance, which is collaboration strategy, not competitive strategy. Because generation after generation, we found out what are the key elements to success, which is very simple. So today we operate out of a well-being and happiness mandate. Now that words came way before United Nations come up with well-being and happiness economy. Because if we really think, what do we really ultimately, as we progress, I just want to be well and happy. Just want to be well. But we are ignorant, and we're greedy, and we are, lost. It's like I told you about this Tatler interviewer. So, what is your idea about happiness? I said, my idea about happiness is get rid of that idea so I can focus on happiness. Now you are happy, you're born happy, it's your nature. If you are present, you're happy, but your mind's flying everywhere. Your memory is managing you. Your story is playing and you're just dancing to your story. You're out of control because you're lost in the idea of happiness. So, cut the story short, that's all we want, isn't it? Yes, I studied the different worldviews, right? And then we study all the wisdom in Indian traditions, Chinese, even Christianity, we talk.
Yeah.
What are they saying? Saying the same thing, different words, different history, different backdrop. So, but we have all become a believer of science. Is it scientific? Do you have evidence base? What evidence base? If you all know about research, the research is sometimes a little bit iffy how you want to set it up. Evidence. Well, there's evidence too. I mean, ancient tradition use it and they survive on it. Is an evidence base. That they sustain is an evidence base. But never mind. So, since how we see affects everything in the global reality, we need to have a global worldview that we can share. We need new languages, because languages are nothing but shared experience. So I cannot talk to somebody who's blind from birth, because you can't describe colors, so no point. You can talk about it, but there's no meaning, there's no shared experience. And culture and cultural language is a shared experience. But in the global context, we need something that we share. And everybody shares science. So scientific language is a good way of cross-indexing cultural backdrop to allow a language of shared experience in a global context. And that's why we do that. And of course, quantum science is the latest, right? That is talking about the unseen, talk about energy, about clustering energy. It's about the whole science of consciousness. But that goes back also to Newtonian science, which go into matter and material. Although quantum science, there's no matter, there's just an appearance of solidity. But you still have to deal with this matter world. So it goes into epigenetics, contemplative science, neuropsychology. Our physical body is an expression of our spirit. But we cannot grab spirit. That's why you have behavioral science, right? You're observing of your physical experience. So therefore, we needed to have, in this new era, a new way of communicating, sharing experience, creating a worldview. Because if you don't have a common worldview, we would not have common sense. And without common sense, we'll be fighting. Well, first of all, consciousness is creation of everything. If you're not conscious, you don't exist. And different level of consciousness is level of sophistication. I mean, an animal wouldn't think about emotional capital, social capital, spiritual capital, all kinds of capital. Before we think about capital as money, today we think of capital in a much more wider sense. Capital is just resources. You need to deploy them for management of reaching whatever you wanted to do. So the thing about management, right? What is management have to do with consciousness? One of the things about consciousness is as you elevate the consciousness, you elevate your EQ and EQ stability. And also when you elevate the consciousness, you actually go through a journey of I to we. On higher level of consciousness, you are fully aware connection. It's not an intellectual thing. Oh, everything's holistic, it's very interconnected. They're just words. Consciousness makes you see it, know it, and you can sense it. It becomes real. And in the process of shifting consciousness, the manifestation of that is a journey of I to we. First, maybe I against you, competitive strategy. Then you measure again, oh, okay, well, I in we. So I kill you, you kill me, God, it's endless. I am in we. I am in we. I am in society. I am in it. It dies, I die. Then as you move on and you have deep connection, then you just naturally become I am we. And what is I am we? It's love, isn't it? Love's the solution for all. So when I am we, well, you don't fight. You have love. You have healing. You have solution. You have creativity. Your intent is different. Your tension is different. That is elevating of consciousness. In love, we create. Right? And we co-create. Because we cannot create alone. We, human being, success is a process of co-creation. We can't fly, we can't swim. As an animal, we're pretty poor, except we can walk furthest because we work on 2 legs. But we co-create to dive deeper, fly up higher, everything because of co-creation. Collective intelligence and working together. It's actually really easy to understand, but to know it and feel it and embody it, it's a process. We have a program, an alternate to business school. It's called Management of Life. First, you have to be CEO of your life first. You have to lead your life. If you can't even lead your life, how do you help other people lead theirs? You don't have to focus that first. You have to create your inner leadership to live a life. Are you in control? Do you live the life you want? Are you living your calling? Do you know your calling? Do you know even yourself? First, you have to find out who you are and live your life. Well, we're all being kind of sculptured, father, mother, brother, sister, schooling, society. We don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. How do you lead your life? Right? You first have to find out who you are and lead your life. That's the most important. That is leadership. And when you find out who you are, the leadership's called followership. You follow your calling. That's not logical. It's uniquely for you. Every one of us is unique. When you find out who you are, you must follow your nature. Follow your calling. Don't say, I want to be like him. I want to be like, forget about role model like this. Your role models are people that can lead their own lives. Because that's a role model, not like, I want to be this person or that person. You want to follow somebody who follows their own life, that follows their own nature, that follows their own leadership, that follows their own calling. Because that is well-being. We always want to do something against who we are. If you don't know who you are, you're lost. Can you find well-being when you're lost? So number 1, you got to do that. Then number 2, leadership, as I said, is co-creation. It's making everybody on a journey of I to we. However, that leadership in each one of them needs a structure. The leadership needs a leader to ignite it. But first of all, if all of us are going into a journey of life to lead our life, my God, it's easy to ignite. And it can even move to collective leadership if we're enlightened. Of course, that's a difficult thing because in the I Ching, there's a really high celestial thing when we are totally enlightened. They call the dragon without a leader. But we have to be a dragon first and able to fly. And when we fly, when we're enlightened, and then just like nature, right? The bee doesn't have to have a meeting with the bird and the tree, right? The dance is synchronized. It's automatic. That's called dragon without leader. Nature as an expression of enlightenment. Our original nature itself. It just dances perfectly synchronized. Now we are nature. But we lost nature. We live in the human construct world for too long. We're delusioned. That is very creative being, human being, the pinnacle of evolution, is also very delusionary. Unfortunately, that's a shadow side. Light and shadow comes together. MLP is part of this quantum leadership development program, and the program is called Quantum Stewardship Program. So it's a 2 to 2.5 years program. And now, with enough shift in the leadership, we just recently recruited 15 graduates. Some are undergraduate graduates, some are graduate student graduate, some work for a year, but young, under 25, most of them. And to develop a new breed of future manager. Now, I can't do that until there's enough shift in my management team. So it's like kids. Kids are no problem. It's the parents and the teacher that has a problem. If the parent and teacher has not shifted enough to realize that they are the problem and they're mindful, you bring the kids in. You bring this trainee in. It'll be the thing. I've been at this for a long time, this program. But COVID changed my mind. Because I'm always looking out to find somebody who can develop the program. I found out that I have to do it. That's why I started writing a lot of books. It's all for that program. I started a family business network in Asia. So one of the old boys there said, Fred, I totally buy it. But how can we become a purposeless organization? I brought 150 of my top management globally to Singapore for training. I would like to have some insight from you. I said, I bet you hire a consultant. I said, yeah. I said, don't hire a consultant. Hire a coach. And you have to be purpose-led. Then your management will be purpose-led. Don't ask a consultant to do the job. Ask a consultant to coach you so you can do the job. You have to switch your thinking. And you know very well coaching is prevent you from lying to yourself. And making you see yourself as you say. Of course, you have to sign a release form. Do not fire the consultant because the consultant coach is honest with you. I agree? All right, I'm in safe space. I'm going to tell you, you are full of shit. Okay? A CEO tends to be like, you don't agree with me? So, number one, hire an honest coach and give him a mandate release and manage your ego. Can you do that? If you can do that, hire a coach to coach you and you go on a journey. But I invite you to join me. You're part of the network. Which I would do because I'm going to build a school for them. In the jungle. You come spend a month in the jungle and switch your consciousness. We have to focus, you see. We go where focus. If anybody plays golf, you know that if you look at the water, you look at the sand, and you have to focus in the middle. Now, most people's attention is always distracted. So your attention gets distracted, your intention gets distracted. Right? Right. So the water is there, the sand is there, oh, and then your intention of hitting in the middle get distracted. So that's when your contemplative practice to train so you can focus, right? Mm-hmm. Meditation is all about ability to manage your mind to focus. And we talk into this exploration of life. You are focusing them on life. Focus them to explore, get the attention. The attention will go into the intention. It's like brainwashing. Even you sleeping, you think about life. Because you're all talking about it. So when you go back, our office is like a club, right? They go there to do yoga and they really enjoy eating on the bench and stuff. And they talk about this topic because we have a whole CCC program called Communication, Culture, and Community. Now you get the focus of what people talk about. Get the attention and shift the intention. Well, it is natural, right? Maslow hierarchy of needs. So you go through all the thing, and then of course today we have enough to meet all our needs physically, not enough to meet our greed. So okay, some will continue that lost path of greediness, but others will have new needs. First is realize themselves, which is somewhat ego-based as well. Prove yourself, self-esteem. But what about the people who has reached the top? CEOs, C-suite people. And then what do they want? They're stressed. And they start thinking what it's all about. And if you're like 55, you know, on the way out, you know that, and you see all the people that just in front of you, know that sooner or later you're out. But you still have a long lifespan. What's it about? What's life is about? So a lot of people are asking, what's life about, especially in the COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when you need to transcend self. Transcend from this ego-based self of ignorance and greed into enlightened self. Now that is a very important. Why is it important? Because today the problem of sustainability is a market economy that's not based on enlightened self-interest, but based on greedy and ignorant self-interest. That's the origin, the root of the problem. So, people are awakening automatically to this movement to complete what Adam Smith wanted to say, the theory of moral sentiments. It'll be okay. The free market economy will do the job because the invisible hand will do it because inherently we are moral, altruistic. And this is happening, right? So we get so bad because of the invisible hand, and now we have ESG, we have impact investment. You think about what ESG and impact investment is. ESG is dealing with doing less harm during the transition. And impact investment is where you want to go add value. So ESG is a transitional thing. So we move from ESG into impact. And what is impact? It's redefining the mission and measurement of business. The return of capital is more than just money. And the impact measurement is in there. So you can't lie to yourself because you're going to look and be transparent. What value you add to the whole life system, to society, to environment, right? So business has to change because the invisible hand is making to correct it. And then we have a great system of freedom because freedom is our fundamental driving force for humanity. So this free market economy, don't blame it, it's amazing. It's the most democratic and most equal free system the human being has created. It just needs adjustments to make it evolve into the next stage of enlightened self-interest driven. So often I did a talk in Bloomberg, I said, don't be the CEO of fear. It was a CEO forum. We have to be CEO of love. When you're CEO of love, you get two dividends. The dividend that you can use to enjoy, and then there's a dividend of joy. Because when love is present, joy is present too. The myth of rack to rack in 3 generations is they don't understand. And number 2, they already are seeking sustainability. You don't need to do, and they are able to invest long term. They are able to take risks that will highly leverage to make the whole capital chain work. Without them, you cannot de-risk. And the little money they put in can de-risk enough for all the capital to go into the supply chain. That's why you have green money and venture impact. And family business are interest aligned. Because they want sustainability. You think about your CEO working with a bunch of shareholders, and that bunch of shareholders are fund managers that work for another bunch of shareholders, and they are so far away. And then you say, oh, I'm going to do this really good impact strategy. You have a return like 30% but after 20 years. They said, that's really good. Tomorrow your share's gone. They sold it. Or you nuts, change the CEO. Can they do it? They cannot align to able. They are not able to do it. But family business enlightenment gives them the power. But also I told family business, which they don't like to hear, we are 70% of the GDP and 70% of the problem, and therefore 70% of the responsibility. So we can do it collectively. So I'm actually championing that in the Family Business Network under the concept of this is the legacy of family business today. Solving the sustainability challenge of humanity, making an enlightened self-interest market economy towards flourishing. Now these are words that you hear a lot, but the only way you know those words is by doing it. Because only doing is knowing. Otherwise, it's a talk shop, greenwashing. Take the word balance out of your vocabulary. Oh, people talk about work-life balance. They're talking about greed and enlightenment balance. The more you balance, the more it's off balance. You look at your life, the more you think about work-life balance, you're more frustrated you cannot balance it. Because if we are, holistic in reality, if you understand evolution biology, you know it's about integration. Integration is moving towards holism. Everything is always integrating. That's why globalization cannot and will not stop. Every disintegration is so you can integrate better. Every challenge is an opportunity for evolution. No pain, no gain. So don't think about balance. Think about the journey from I to we. And you'll be surprised one day without knowing it. You're there. Doing is knowing. Don't think about it. Just start the journey step by step. And no time you're there. No time you're there. I'm writing a book right now. It's called Family Management and Succession. So you have to understand, this is about systemic thing. We all serve something. The we, first of all, what is the we? There's a we beyond the we beyond the we, right? So, it's a we, husband and wife. Then it's a we with the kids. Then it's a we with your parents. Then it's a we with the cousins. That's just talking about family. And then there's a we about the village, right? The we is expanding until the we is life itself. Then when I am we, I am life, I am nature. How can you hurt nature? Because you are it. Now you see some of the people that are doing natural restoration, which is the zone I'm doing. And I'm doing this documentary right now on the hero of Amazon and talk about the indigenous, how they see, how they relate. They don't hurt nature. When nature is them, we. So we have to expand the we. Now you think about it, makes sense, right? If we're always serving a bigger we, would we fight? We don't fight. The mundane self-interest becomes so stupid to us. And when you do not looking at selfishness, when we're all serving something, you know what? It heals you. In the expression of love, you find out you are love. And when you find out I am love, actually brings us up pretty easy. Family business cannot sustain because they're shrinking the we. And they're fighting over the resource. fighting over power, wealth, and whatever the resource is. But they don't understand what is the best way to manage wealth, that resource, is purpose. If you don't manage that wealth purpose, the wealth will manage you, and you will fall apart. So if the family, I will tell you how we do it in my family. And as you move on to serve bigger thing, then all of a sudden, you have commonality, common language, common objective, common purpose. And you no longer maintain yourself, become weak without knowing it. But we start contracting that it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. Why do you get that? What happened? It breaks apart. Oh, the founder, patron, then the sibling partnership, then the cousin consortium. Well, then what happened after that? That's not what holds a family together. Common purpose, bigger than we. That's why family business always have philanthropy, but the problem with family philanthropy is not integrated into life. It's not integrated in business. It's not in the philanthropy is love for humanity. Your practice of philanthropy is so that you can find the love that you are loved, because you're able to give. You find out, wow, I'm so happy, joyous to a giving life. And then you find out your love itself. And you go on a journey. Okay? This is the solution. The family do not focus on bigness, which is a misconception. I want to be bigger. You have to focus on greatness. Then the family can sustain. So my family, pretty simple. The world's really bad. We need to change the social contract. So my generation, the fourth generation, I'm from the Qing dynasty. Think about the changes, right? So I convinced the family, I'm going to do this. Anyway, I'm the sole owner of the business because that's how family works. I did a leverage buyout, but anyway. So I said, do you think that we have right values? Of course. Prudence, harmony, frugality. Yeah, we have good value. Legacy. I said, true, but we don't have enough high level understanding. If you think about things like legacy and, frugal and don't spend too much and prudence, it is passing on values of fear from our founder. Oh, we make so much money, you guys just don't spend. Be prudent. And please consume my ego. Word. The business I created. That's called succession of fear. But if you look at it, do you really think your next generation, your descendant, will be worse than you? If you look at history, you know they're always better than you. But you have ego. You think that I'm the best, they're going to not be as good as me. Well, that thinking has already made them having a fear, and that's why it caused family business to be so conservative. You worry about legacy, you worry about prudence, you're not focusing on adding value. Correct? So those two things are a problem. Yes, a lot of good value, but those two value of legacy and prudence has to convert to love. So prudence can be mindful of risk and return to become a better business and risk manager and also opportunity manager. And legacy is not getting bigger or continue that business keep changing. Legacy is how this family business add value to life. It's a greatness of what you do. But business keep changing. You hold on to business, don't change. Prudence, legacy, you're dead for sure. And then people fight. Then the family falls apart. So for me, we have a different attitude. This contract of maximizing profit is a death sentence for family business. So, I give my wealth to purpose, which is the mandate. And I make my family from shareholders to protectors. And I told my children, my succession planning is a program. You're welcome to be a protector. And if you really like business, you can even into management. But I suggest you go out and find out who you are. If you found this is your calling, come back. But you're not a shareholder. You're a protector. We have a social contract. When you take out shareholders, maximizing shareholders out of the value, out of the chain, it's easy to work. Shareholders become protector, then their resources at true work. Let the wealth of the family, because we come with nothing, we go nothing. And frankly, parents always says, honey, I just want you to be happy and well. But they're the one who cost them most unhappiness. Totally doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. So honey, I will screw you up. But I'm doing the best I can to not screw you up so much. Now here's a toolbox of fixing yourself. Because before I screw up, the school will screw you up too, and society will screw you up too. So while I'm screwing you up, at least I gave you a toolbox. Now I'm your journey mate. My parents, I love you so much. I'm always your journey mate and behind you. What I do is me. It could be a reference for you to watch how I live and how I have screwed up. So don't screw up like me. What do you think about that contract? That's our contract. So we do not have shareholders. We only have a mandate of well-being and happiness. Because that's really what we want. And even the parents we know, honey, I just want you to be well, doing well and happy. This is the ultimate. But we got lost in greed and ignorance, resentment, all the things. We got lost. And we forgot that's where we want to go. So a family must know. And then you always serve the era. We have to create the era. That's our opportunity. What do you call that? Unicorn, right? You're always producing the unicorn. You serve the era, you create the business model, you make the money. Now if you think 20 years, and our business has been losing money for more than 15 years. You think long term, one generation, 25 years. Who's going to compete with you there? Today. So your chance of winning big is called strategic positioning. You need strategy. Most important, you need to know where the world's going. You have to have insights. No? Agrarian society, industrial society, what does it mean? And now post-industrial, people talk about what is post-industrial? What is post? Well, United States, everybody knows where post, but we never think about, study it, do the context. So research is important. And our program does contextualization.